disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Alright, welcome everybody to another BD Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always my co-host, the one, the only King, Bucho King. Are you there?
There.
Are you sure you're there?
Yeah.
Gee, I can't hear you, man. I can barely, those mic issues still.
Fuck. I don't know, man. My mic's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's go on your phone, man. We'll figure this shit out later.
Alright.
Alright, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for that. I don't know what's going on with we had some audio issues with Bucho, but hey, we're still on here. Thank you for joining us. Today we're gonna be doing the BDA seminar. I like to just call it seminar to make it sound more prestigious. But look, we're just gonna preview a little bit of the what's it called, the Derevianchenko Charlo fight, because Bucho and myself were very excited about it, and we're just gonna take a look at a couple of things, a couple of little tidbits that we got planned for everybody, because I do think it's a very good fight. This is the fight that I wanted after Derevianchenko lost to Golovkin. I said, you know what, this is the fight that Charlo needs. It's doable. They're both from the PBC. Let's make it happen. And now it's on. So we're very excited about that. Shout out to Triple JJ, Wayne Hennessy, Ronald Finkley, Virtuoso, Seamus Carey, Jeff Lucieta, Jerson Medina, Boxing Virus, Johnny Boy, Sporting Advantage, Lobitos, Boxing Den, aka Gonzalo, B-Space, Larry Merchant, Official Scorecard Boxing, and many more to come, I am sure. Look, I'm going to be opening the phone lines. Hopefully they work. Again, we've been having some technical issues when it comes to with the actual phone calls. Bucho has not had those issues, but now he's having issues with the microphone, so it all spreads around. But like I said, everything's gonna be hunky-dory. I'm gonna be opening the phone line soon, though. Not right now, otherwise I can't focus. Guys, you don't forget, if you wanna keep the gravy train rolling, you can send us a donation via the super chat, or you can go to the Patreon and PayPal page and send us your contribution there. But of course, the most important thing is that you continue to subscribe. If you haven't done so already, keep spreading the word, and everything will be all right. Okay, all right, they won't work then. I won't open the phone lines then for today.
Use Chrome.
Okay.
And they will work, I guarantee.
All right, well, we'll try. But yeah, like I said, this fight, it's gonna be a good one, guys. It's gonna be a good one. Charlo, let me pull up the records for everybody to see what's going on. There may be a couple of quotes from each guy, because I know Charlo said, I can't find the article now because I'm doing several things at the same time, but I know Charlo said that he doesn't think Derevianchenko is all that. I think he's the one that said that, because he actually lost his two big fights against Jacobs and Golovkin, and therefore he's not really a big opponent, or as good as people make him out to be. But at the same time, you think, well, who is Charlo's best opponent? Because it's not like he's been fighting killers either. I mean, Julian Williams is his best win. We're gonna get to that. But let me put up the things here for everybody. So you got Derevianchenko, who's no spring chicken. He's 33 years old already. 33 years old, 5'9", is very strong dude for 5'9". I mean, he was able to go toe to toe against Golovkin, so that tells you what type of body build he has and what type of strength he has. Charlo is taller, leaner at 6 feet tall. He's 30, so he's about 3 to 4 years old. How old was Derevianchenko? 34. Okay, so he's 4 years older. He's got a nice little reach. Now, Derevianchenko is a guy that he has a lot of experience because he used to spar a lot with Daniel Jacobs, hence why he was able to give him a good fight. But he's also, you look at his records. Okay, Sam Soliman, who's been past it for a couple of years now, but, okay, it's a step up. Turano Johnson, who's a very strong guy. Who did Turano Johnson beat, by the way? That was a undefeated guy. Sergey not Derevianchenko. He beat Jason Quigley, who's in the running for Canelo, by the way. Oh, Butch, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm using my phone. It's gonna sound like shit.
And even then, I got your volume boosted up, and it still sounded a little bit low. So
maybe I'm losing my fucking voice. What?
Yeah, maybe you are. You're losing your balls. By the way, we got Gonzalo on the line as well. Gonzalo, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. It's going fantastic. How are you doing over there?
I'm doing all right.
Fantastic. That's great to hear, man. That's great to hear. Listen, we're gonna be talking a little bit about the Derevianchenko Charlo fight. It's gonna be a nice little compact presentation. It's gonna be a hot little package that we got going here. So hopefully you enjoy it along with everybody. But I was just going through Derevianchenko's record. Turano Johnson, who's a good win. He stopped Turano Johnson. He went toe to toe with Jacobs, but came out on the short end of that one. He beat Jack Colkay, struggled a little bit with Colkay, but then again, so did Demetrius Andrade. So there's nothing to be ashamed of there. He went toe to toe with Golovkin. I know a lot of people feel here on this program that Golovkin should have won. And now he's taking on Charlo. Gonzalo, I'm curious, who did you have winning the Golovkin Derevianchenko fight? Because I forget sometimes who said when.
Jesus, gotta be honest. I thought Derevianchenko landed more combinations. They were more flashy. If I'm gonna go by rounds, I would say, including the knockdown, that Derevianchenko still edged it by 1 round. But given that Golovkin's a power puncher and did the more significant damage, it's hard to say. But I'm just gonna have to be honest with myself. Scoring it round by round, including the knockdown, I still had Derevianchenko up by 1 round.
Interesting. Very interesting. Derevianchenko by 1 round. So even with the knockdown, you don't feel Golovkin did enough to win that fight?
Yeah, I mean, that's just unofficially. That's just my opinion. But yeah, he definitely did enough. If you're going to put it in the hands of an actual judge, obviously they know more than me, or that's the official result of the fight. I can't complain or argue with that. It's still a win. A win is a win as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, you're right, man. But it was a competitive fight. By the way, Bucho, can you start the phone lines, please?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to the chat room real quick, see what people say about that. Andres Hernandez says Charlo has never been in a war. Yeah, the closest he's been to difficult fights was the Julian Williams fight, but then again, he ended up knocking Williams out. The Kobrov fight was pretty competitive and very close, but it wasn't like an exchange. It wasn't a type of scenario where he was down and he had to come back with a knockout or something, or he'd been caught or hurt. He's never been in that position, which speak testaments about how tough he is, when I do believe he's tough, but he's never been in there against a guy like Golovkin, Jacobs, Derevianchenko, somebody that's going to really be able to hurt him. Eric Rosa says, my opinion, Charlo has the judges on his side. It's a 50-50 fight, but those judges will favor Charlo in the swing rounds. Yeah, what about that, Gonzalo? Do you think Charlo has the upside here, the upswing when it comes to the PBC, and that he'll be getting the advantage?
I believe so, to be honest. Yeah, that's the short answer, but it's the truth. I mean, look, people were saying that, I read a comment that this is a make or break fight for Jermall Charlo, but it's also a make or break fight for Derevianchenko, and this would be his 3rd title opportunity. And how many contenders that have challenged for a world title get a 3rd opportunity? A lot do, but a lot only get 2. Sometimes 3. So I mean, this is a make or break fight for Derevianchenko as well. So if it's a make or break fight for both of these guys, I think Charlo is favored. But it would be pretty sad if Derevianchenko got robbed for a third time.
Yeah, man, that would be. But then again, it's boxing. Unfortunately, we have seen guys getting the short end for several fights in a row. I mean, look at Badu Jack. He was, he would have close fight after close fight and draws. And now that's also because sometimes sometimes he would end the fight strongly and all that, and he wouldn't get the benefit of the doubt. So, I mean, it's hold on, Bucho, is it number 2 or number 1 to start the phone calls? I forget.
1.
Jeez, that tells you how long it's doing. These late night shows, sometimes they take
been a week.
It has been. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, but Gonzalo, sometimes you can a guy can get shafted numerous times and nobody bats an eye. You know what I mean? So wouldn't surprise me what people are saying. It's true. It's Charlo is going to be getting the benefit of the doubt. By the way, fellas, we got the phone lines open. I don't have the phone number on this time because I didn't expect it. Hold on. If somebody can call in to see if they're working now, that would be fantastic. No, hold on a second.
I honestly think that his nickname is true to the name of the technician. I believe he has skills.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's a good guy that's lost 2 close fights. A lot of people also had him winning the Jacobs fight, including myself. So I mean, yeah, he's definitely a worthy contender. Although he's coming off a loss. His last fight was a loss.
Yeah. Well, he lost against Golovkin, yeah.
And look, I was impressed with Charlo, the way he performed against Korobov. The thing that I was impressed about, that he was able to hurt Korobov late. That tells me that he's a patient stalker, that he might have his ebbs and flows and be episodic, and he might not control this fight against Derevianchenko, but in the end, he will still have flashes where he's composed and still deliver like a shot that might be able to hurt and possibly knock out Derevianchenko.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by the way, some people are saying like, oh, Jacobs lost the Derevianchenko fight. I don't see it that way. But okay, hold on. Let me see if the phone lines work. All right, Bucho, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Oh, stay on the line. I want to try something here. Is it volume controller, volume booster, volume master? Okay. So I want to see if
Bucho inside a closet?
No, it's because he's on the phone, so it's not gonna sound as powerful as it could.
It sounds like shit, probably.
Well, it's not that bad, but all right. You know what? Forget about it. Yeah. Well, okay. It sounds good enough
All right,
here.
hang up.
All right.
All right, fuck it.
Oh no! Hold on. Stay on the line. Hello. Are you there? No, he hung up. Okay, we got another phone call though, so let's see if it works. 802, you're on the air. 802.
How you doing, BDA? How you doing today, sir?
Good. Who is this again?
My name is Ronald Finkley. I'm calling from America. I just wanted to see how international calls work on my phone.
Well, we do accept calls from the United States and Canada. That's not a problem. It's from England and all anything outside of Canada and the United States. That's the problem.
Okay. Yeah, man. I just wanted to call in and say that I appreciate the UK perspective of what we're talking about as far as people talking about boxing from here and there. So I'm looking forward to hearing all of the content from over there also. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that I subscribe to your channel and I'm gonna be an avid person on your channel.
Nice. Thank you, man. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Hey, you've been around though for a while though.
Yeah, but I've kind of been only in American boxing channels, but I've joined a fantasy boxing league where though you can when you watch all of the fights, you got to know who you're dealing with. So I look at maybe you might tell me something about certain fighters and I'll look them up and I'll see. That's the thing. It's boxing, so you want to make sure that you know who everybody is in all the different divisions. You know,
right.
And that's the way I look at it. You know. Yeah, so I feel like I can get that perspective, like listening to you and certain other UK channels.
I gotcha. Yeah. You gotta watch all those channels to try to get a deeper perspective. But I don't know. So how do you have the time though? Sometimes to listen to all these podcasts.
Say that again.
How do you find the time to watch to listen to all these podcasts?
Watch whose podcast? I usually have my Bluetooth on at work when I watch any channel. But right now I don't have a Bluetooth. But like I've been kind of like just working lately. But I like to listen to podcasts. I like to listen to people talk about boxing, of course, like, you know, across the world. You know, that's what I like to do because that's how you get the full like, you know, scope of like what's going on in boxing.
Right. I gotcha.
Yeah,
so
I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you.
I got my bell notification on.
Fantastic. That's good to hear, man. Hey, who do you have for the Derevianchenko Charlo fight? Who do you have winning on that one?
Are we talking about the Jamal?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a hard fight. I think that's gonna be harder than the Jamel fight. Like, because I feel like Jamel is gonna like he's gonna be too skillful for the guy he's fighting, Rosario. I don't think he's gonna do what Julian did, but I feel like Jamal is gonna basically keep his jab out there, and I kind of feel like he's gonna not let Derevianchenko like bully him. That's what I feel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause GG let Derevianchenko bully him, I felt. So it's a great fight. Like, all I can do is watch it, BDA. Like, I'm just here to watch it, man. You know, and I'm a bet on that fight. I'm a bet on both of those fights because those are really good matchups, man. Like, and I feel like if Jamal win, like GGG should have to fight him or he can retire. That's just the way I feel because GGG been ducking too long. He's been thinking about Canelo too much. So I just feel like he should have to fight him after that. Like, they should make a negotiation to fight him. You see what I'm saying? Like, because like the belts need to be like, we need to understand like what the history is going to say at the end of the day. Like, who was the best person at 160? You know what I mean? Because Canelo's not there no more. You know, and we know he's not there no more. You know, he's just kind of like cherry picking. You know, and I ain't got no problem with Canelo, but like I'm not gonna watch none of his fights. You know what I mean? But GG is like, I'm not gonna watch none of Canelo fights. Like, I don't feel like he's fighting the right person.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that because a lot of people, like, I didn't get any real vibes, any strong vibes after before the Kovalev fight. Seems like people they weren't all hyped up for the Kovalev fight, and I can only surmise that or assume that it's because people already knew that somehow, some way, Canelo was going to get the decision and get the win.
Well, yeah, you know what? And I kind of felt that too, but not so much because I was thinking like how he fought Yarde, Kovalev, but like it was a quick turnaround. It was like a really, I just felt like Kovalev didn't show up. You know, that's the way I feel about it because we know how hard he hit, like in his right hand, like how hard his right hand is, and I just felt like he didn't show up for Canelo. That's just my opinion. You know,
right?
They win a few rounds, but I felt like it didn't look right to me.
I know, yeah.
Like I saw a drained Kovalev.
I get the feeling a lot of people felt that way. Yeah. Listen, Richard, thank you for calling in. It was Richard Finkley, right? You said, or Robert Finkley.
Ronald Finkley.
Ronald Finkley. All right, listen, we're gonna take another.
I've been watching you for a while, but I never subscribed. But I subscribed because, like, you know, it's just about like bridging the gap with certain boxing channels and understanding like the full spectrum of like where boxing is. You know, for me.
You should have subscribed years ago. I don't know what's the matter with you, but now you've subscribed, so everything's great, man.
Well, yeah, because I got tired of the same old like micro bias. Like the micro bias in boxing is like the only way we can get the fights we have is like by reaching out and like filling up with people's perspective across the world instead of being mad at like promoters. We can just talk to people and then like see what their thoughts are. Like I look at it like this: I'm just here to learn. You know what I mean? Like I'm just here to learn and understand like where the sport need to go and where's it going to go. You know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Thank you for taking my call.
Well, thank you for calling in, man.
That was absolutely brilliant.
And listen, thank you for listen. We're biased too, by the way. Just to let you know, everybody's got their own little biases, but you got to keep an open mind. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. All right, listen.
Okay.
Ronald, we got to move on because we got to start this presentation, and we got a couple of phone calls to take. But thank you very much, and stay tuned. And thank you for your contributions, man.
Okay, I'll be back.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, call back later. All right, take it easy, man. All right, let's go to 619, and then we'll get into the actual Charlo fight. All right, 619, you're on the air. 619.
Hey, what's up? What's up, guys? It's Jose.
Oh, Jose, how you doing, man?
Hey, nothing much, man. Well, hey, I think I'm glad Derevianchenko he's fighting Charlo for the title because he got an offer from Canelo. So not only was Canelo not going to pay him handsomely, but he wasn't going to pay him well at all. But you know, he would have been more at risk of getting robbed against Canelo. So I think Derevianchenko didn't want to lose, kind of like sell his third title shot to Canelo. That's what would have ended up happening, you know. I think Canelo, man, all his fights are rigged right now, fighting with the zone. So, yeah, to me, he's not even that exciting anymore. Like the Jacobs fight was boring, you know. Like ever since he's been with the zone with this little deal, you know, it's always one thing or another. The catch weights, not giving it enough time to prepare for the fights, not paying him well. But that's what I'm saying. I'm glad Derevianchenko did not take the fight with Canelo, because like Gonzalo said, he probably would have been robbed. So that's my thought.
Yeah, you're right, man. A lot of people feel that way. It's interesting that it's not just one or two. It's several people that just they've had it with Canelo fights. They don't think they're on the up and up. They don't think they're on the level. And this is what you get now. But I mean, it's not necessarily Canelo's.
Yeah, well,
go ahead.
Well, and Canelo is a good fighter, but it's not all his fault, man. It's because a lot of people think that the zone overpaid him. So I mean, of course he's not gonna turn away money, you know, that they paid him, you know. So since he got that deal, it's like he has for sure money. So all he has to do, to me, he kind of like lost that drive, you know, well, not the drive, but he's just going through the motions, man, just fulfilling those fights, and he doesn't care who it's against, you know. But at the same time, you know, he could be fighting bombs, or he could just be collecting titles, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that shit got old. That shit got old about you know, not giving these fighters like, hey, you want to fight Canelo, you know. You know, like they're supposed to get excited, you know, because he's like the biggest name in boxing, but he's not paying them like Mayweather used to, you know. That's why fighters used to get excited when they used to fight Mayweather, not so much because they thought they could beat him, but because they were getting a big payday. It's like winning the lottery, you know.
Right.
But not with Canelo, you know, it's not the same thing, you know. So don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I agree, man.
I gotta go. I got off the wrong exit on the freeway. I gotta go.
Oh
back.
shit! Yeah, don't crash, man. All right, thank you for calling in, Jose. Call back next time, man.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, good point. It's interesting, Bucho and Gonzalo. It's interesting how that's 2 calls in a row. People just don't care about Canelo fights anymore.
Yeah, and you know what? Also, Mr. BDA.
Yes.
I think he takes pride in concealing his next opponent and not letting the public know who he's going to fight. Because it happened about a year ago before the coronavirus. They wouldn't reveal who he was fighting, and everybody was wondering, but they wouldn't just give that information. Like they were saying, like they're saying now, it's I don't know what that phrase is that Eric Gomez is using, but they're talking about they can't mention anything. That's getting old. The suspense. It's overly.
It reminds me of Mayweather. It reminds me of fucking Mayweather.
That's a good point, yeah.
He used to do the same fucking shit. And then all of a sudden, he's fighting Robert Guerrero. Oh, wow.
It's true, man.
Oh, that's suspense, man. That's suspense.
What the fuck are we doing out here? I asked you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shit show. It's a Mickey Mouse type of shindig, cowboy bullshit. Just make the fight, man. This ain't a movie. This ain't Star Wars 17, you know? It's like, all the people are looking forward. It's a fight. It's a boxing bout. We're excited about boxing bouts, but it's not necessarily the whole horror life. So just make the fight. We'll pay for
He
it.
thinks we're all waiting on the edge of our seats, and he's just waiting
Exactly.
for that announcement. Like, come on, there's other boxing fights.
That fantastic points, Butcher. That you know what? I never thought about it that way. And like Gonzalo too. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna wait for it to announce the fight. Just announce it, man. All right. Anyway, listen, we got another phone call, but we'll start the presentation, guys, first, and then we'll get to the phone
we
calls.
gotta start
right?
the presentation.
By the way, let me just put a disclaimer here. This presentation, it's only going to be about Charlo. This first part, it's about Charlo. So don't don't say, why don't you focus on Derevianchenko? It's because otherwise we're going to be here all night. All right. So just know that for the moment. Let me start this because we're gonna. But I want to share it with Gonzalo and Bucho so that they can see what I'm talking about here. So hopefully this works. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see it on the Discord. Okay. Can you guys see it on the Discord, by the way?
Yeah, if I click on the watch.
Okay, and I'm gonna change the slide. See if it changes for you guys too. Did it change?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. All right. So we got Charlo here, 30-0, 22 knockouts. I know people are going to say, yeah, but he's never fought any real big name. Yeah, but still, when you're knocking out 22 guys and hurting most of them, even if you don't stop him, he's got pretty decent power, man. I gotta hand it to him. He's 30 years old, 6 feet tall, so he's a true middleweight, 73.5-inch reach. So he's got good dimensions. It's like he's got the good body for a fighter, and to be successful, and could even move up to, if he wanted to 168 at some point. You know, I think that might be a little bit of a limit. You never know, but 6 feet tall, it's a perfect height for a middleweight. Now you look at his big wins. Cornelius Bondrich. Now some people are gonna say, "Oh, come on, Cornelius Bondrich." Yeah, he was a veteran, and he stopped him. So to me, that's a good win on the up and up. Austin Trout, again, he's been all over the place. Austin Trout, he's been in there with the best. He's only been stopped once by the gigantic Jared Hurd. He beat Dennis Hogan by TKO. Julian Williams, of course, at 154. Then again, he was Charlo. The guys, his biggest. Didn't he look huge against Williams though? That was a bit of a weird one.
Against who?
Against Julian Williams.
Oh yeah, he looked much bigger. Yeah.
It was disgusting. If you ask me, Gonzalo, what did you think about the Williams fight?
Williams against Charlo, Jamal?
Yeah.
I can't recall that fight. I just know it ended up in a knockout. I can't really compare like side by side who was bigger and who was not.
Right. I got you. But it was a good win. But again, he ended up knocking out Williams in the 4th or 5th round, I believe. Should have put the rounds in there. But it's a fantastic win. Although, would you guys say that a little luster has been taken off of it now that Rosario has knocked out Williams as well?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Still a big win.
Little bit?
Just a little bit.
All right.
Just a little.
Little bit. People are agreeing with me on.
Yeah. No, it's still a good win.
It's a good win. I'm not disparaging it, but I'm saying it's lost a little bit of luster. Virtuoso just donated with a super chat. Shout out to Virtuoso. He says, "Do you consider Jermall Charlo's style comparable to Julian Jackson?" A little bit, yeah, man. But he's less stiff. He's faster than Jackson. But that's a good fucking comparison right there. How come it didn't appear, man? What the fuck? Oh, it was turned off. All right. I got the alert on. Shout out to Virtuoso for his contribution. Yeah, guys, what do you think about that? The Julian Jackson comparison.
That's an excellent comparison. I'm gonna go on mute because my dog's barking.
Okay. But it's a great comparison, man. Jermall Charlo, so titles, he got the WBC, he got the IBF Super Welterweight title. Again, I say title, I'm not gonna say championship, all right? I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna happen. Not with me. And he also
Can I say something, BDA? Sorry.
Go ahead.
He stopped barking. That's an excellent comparison because he's got that laser right hand. Like Bucho says, he throws a good right hand down the middle, down the pipe. And remember when Julian Jackson, he threw his right hand, he would almost like point where the guy was. Well, he pointed afterwards, but basically he also had a laser right hand. And
Mhm.
he knew where he was going to throw it. He landed it, and after he would point to where the opponent was going to fall. And when you see Jamal Charlo throwing that right hand, you can see that he kind of throws it in such a good form that you can compare it to how Julian Jackson threw that right hand.
It's a great point. But Julian Jackson's right hook was really the one he used to knock people out, I believe, right? It wasn't really the straight right? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, for the most part.
Maybe I'm wrong.
The highlights and shit that I've seen, yeah, it's
Now,
the hook.
480 Valley says he ain't got Julius Jackson's power. No, he never. Yeah, Virtuoso didn't say he had the power, but he just said the style. He does have a similar style and build too. And by the way, we're gonna get into the power too later on. But so where was I here with this presentation? Hold on a second.
Lobito! Shut up.
All right, there you see Gonzalo screaming at his dog.
Lobito! Shut up.
All right. Where was it with the presentation? All right, here we go. Whoopsie daisy. Hold on, let me go back here. All right. Oh, yes, he's got those titles. And his trainer, Ronnie Shields. Now, this is when we're done. What? All right. I don't know why that was a double. Bucho, what's going on? When I hear it twice, the music, what's happening there?
I think there's two alerts at the same time.
But I only got one here on the presentation. Whatever. Fuck it. Shout out to Slugger Sam, who just donated with the super chat. He says, let me on the line, fellas. 226 area code. Okay, yeah, we'll let you in, Slugger Sam, but in a little bit, because we got to get through this thing. We don't know how long it's going to take. Ronnie Shields is a great trainer. He's been around for a while. I think he used to be in Holyfield's corner for a little bit. He had Juan Diaz at some point. Who else did he train that was good? He trained right now it's escaping my mind, but he's been training a whole bunch of good guys. And with Charlo, you can tell that he's got this guy well schooled. So he's got a good backup in there, a good corner, a good support is what I wanted to get on. Now, when we talk about his strengths, oh boy, now we get into something interesting here. I would say his reflexes are on point, and that's the benefit of being young. You know, when you're young, you got these fast ass reflexes. You can, and if you're a good counter puncher and you drill those things, man, you're gonna do some damage. And that is right now Charlo. Now, 30 years old, Bucho. I know what you're gonna say. Oh, 30 years old and he hasn't had a big win yet, or a stellar win. All right, hold on a second. Let me get to the bottom of this. Why do I get? Oh, I think I know why. Okay. Hopefully it changes. Okay. Shout out to Chris K, who just donated the super chat. And he says Canelo and Triple G have been silent last few months. Shout out to Chris K, aka Undercover Asian. Yeah, they've been pretty silent. It's like they're keeping something in the bag. Hopefully it's something big. Although there were rumors that Canelo and Triple G were going to fight again in May 2021. So we'll see. But shout out to Chris K again for the contribution. Bucho, I was going to say, I know you're always talking about how these fucking guys nowadays, 30, 31, and they still haven't had a mega fight in their corner. But, to Charlo's problem is that he was with the PBC, different side of the street, so he couldn't really, Al Heyman was being a hard ass to make a Canelo or Golovkin fight. But he's still pretty young, man, 30 years old. What do you think, Bucho? It's not too late, right? 30 years old, that's prime years.
I mean, it's not too late, but he has to pick it up, right?
Absolutely.
He's doing the right thing right now, because if he didn't have a big fight this year, I would have been like, okay, this guy's a joke. But now he's fighting Derevianchenko, so it's happening.
Fantastic.
We'll see what happens. But it's a little bit late, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the last moment. He took that fight at the right moment.
Right. It's never too late, though. I mean, I know obviously it could have been good if he would have done it in his late 20s and not his early 30s. But like 28,
I'm
29.
saying if he's going for legacy or something like that, I mean, you look at his career, he's 30 years old. What happened prior to that? What are you going to look at? Like the Julian Williams, the J-Rock fight there?
It's a great point, man. That is a fantastic point. All right, so punching power is the one thing that obviously he's not a Julian Jackson. He's not icing people with one shot. But trust me, this guy's punching power is pretty good. Hence why where he's at right now. Because he's got a whole bunch of attributes. Competitive edge. Now, this is something that I really like about him. He's very emotional. Him and his brother are both too emotional. Sometimes to the point where they look like drama queens. But they seem to be able to contain it pretty well in the ring. And it reminds me a little bit of not Colby Covington. the what's the name of that dude that beat Cruz in the UFC and then he lost to the cheater there? What's his name? Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt is the guy. He was very angry at Cruz in the build up to their fight, and I remember looking at that and going, "Oh boy, I think Cruz is just gonna dance around him because this guy's angry, and it's never really a good idea to go into a fight angry." But he was able to pull it together in the fight, and it's the same thing with the Charlos. Outside of the ring, you can get under the skin, but once they're inside the ring, Charlo against Williams, there was a lot of jawing back and forth, and he was able to keep his cool in there to pull off the win. And same thing with his brother against Lubin. Again, a lot of talking outside the ring, and once they're inside, they kept it together. So, guys, what do you think about the Charlo's emotional state? Is that a weakness or is it a strength? And I'll be right back while you guys are talking.
Was it the smaller brother that said, "I usually don't cry, not even when I play video games or something like that"? That was a 54-pounder, right? That got into that pissing contest with Tony Harrison. That's right.
I think he said that, but the Charlo that cried was Big Charlo. Jermel lost.
Jermal?
Jermal, yeah. Jermal said he cried in the dressing room. Remember?
Oh, okay. Because of his brother.
When he lost to Harris. What's his
Tony Harrison.
Tony Harris. Yeah, but anyways. I don't know why media asked this mentally. I mean, they've done some crazy stuff outside the ring, like they got robbed by these hookers. But mentally speaking, I mean, I think they are. I think they do believe in their own abilities.
Yeah, Marcos Villegas interviewed one of the Charlos, and he was like really polite to him and walking on eggshells. And he even told them, sometimes I feel that like you're too aggressive and that you're gonna hit me. And they got that certain way about themselves that they're kind of abrasive. So I mean that aggressiveness might play in their favor sometimes. If they're like their emotions, if they could control them, I guess having aggression and being like that can work for you if you can channel it.
Yeah, and sometimes aggression, that type of aggression is okay to have when you have a certain boxing style, but with their boxing style, being aggressive, is that something positive? You know what I mean? Because what type of style do they have? I mean, I think they're boxer punchers in a way.
They're very precise. I had mentioned Julian Jackson. Yeah, Julian Jackson was the right and the left hook. But if I can compare anything that they have like similar, it's the preciseness. And against Korobov, look, he was real patient and he was losing the fight. But if he can keep his composure and that patience and land a precise, accurate punch, that might work in their favor if they can control their aggression. Controlled aggression.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they are boxer punchers, Bucho.
Patience? Is that what we're talking about?
Patience, I mean, kind of like a counter puncher. That would mean that you would lose rounds. And, I mean, if he's got the judges on his corner, they might give him those rounds. But actually, like, Derevianchenko's like a technician that throws a lot of punches. He could actually take a lot of those rounds. But in the end, if he gets tired and this guy conserves his energy, and then he can just like turn it up, he might be able to knock out Derevianchenko. He's bigger. He's 6 foot, and the other guy's 5'9". And I would say that he punches harder because he is a bigger man. So like if he can control his aggression and like turn it up turn it up a level later, that might work in his favor.
It's a good point, man.
Because boxing, he's gonna lose rounds in the beginning because Derevianchenko is more technical, just like his nickname alludes. Sorry, Mr. Video.
That's okay. Bucho, were you gonna say something or?
No, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I agree with Derevianchenko's got good fundamentals too. We're gonna get to that when we get to him in the next episode. But he's no slouch, man. He's got a couple of technical deficiencies though, more than I see in Charlo. But he's a tough guy. I mean, look, he went 12 rounds against Golovkin and he only hit the canvas once. I mean, it's not like, there was a time where nobody could go 12 rounds against Golovkin. All of a sudden, this guy goes 12 rounds and he's tough, man. So it's gonna if Charlo's gonna stop him, it's either gonna be with one shot or it's gonna have to be an accumulation. Because if Golovkin couldn't do it, but then again, there's also a different style here that we're gonna take a look at later on. But it's possible.
Yeah, he could have like a really good chin because he got dropped early against Jacobs too. So basically, he wasn't warmed up yet. You could say that he was cold, right? And he's got this big blockhead that resembles Frankenstein. So yeah, he might actually be tougher than what we think.
He's not tougher than we think. He is tough. I mean, Jacobs dropped him, and it was a huge shot to the forehead. It was like a weird shot, but nevertheless, he made it out of there. And he's a tough guy, man. He's like you said, he's got a big ass blockhead. He's built like a shit brick house, as they say. Sorry for the language, but that's the only thing that I can come up with. And it's true, man. I mean, he's and like you said he's built like the Frankenstein monster. Absolutely, look at that, same haircut and everything.
Yeah, he is fucking tough, huh?
But let me tell you, man, it's gonna take some heavy firepower from Charlo to take him out. But okay, so he's got a competitive edge, which I think serves him well so far. It has served him well so far. And he's got good, solid fundamentals. And we're going to take a look at all of that. Okay? Now, when I say reflexes, this is what I'm talking about. Oops. Okay, so these are GIFs, so I can't rewind that or fast forward. So we're going to have to make do. But look at how he went to the 1-2 against Kobrov. And Kobrov had him in his sights. He had him lined up for a left hand, but Charlo, all he does is a little pullback, and he made Kobrov miss. Was that?
It's terrible.
What do you mean it's terrible?
Charlo. Well, he missed. He didn't get hit, but I don't know. He didn't properly.
That was a good. That was a good shot. That was a good pullback, like BDA saying, Bucho. I think.
Yeah, that's
the pullback. Yeah, but he shouldn't have. I want to think he shouldn't have missed like that.
But he didn't really miss.
Well, he got him to the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's from too far.
Well,
when you hit the body, I don't know. You don't throw it from that far, anyways.
Right.
But the jab didn't even. The jab wasn't even Korovov's face. He was way. Look at the jab. Boom. Like the jab didn't even bother Korovov.
No, but it was a throwaway jab.
He got right.
I know it's a throwaway jab, but it's from too. I think it's from too far. That's what.
But the throwaway jab was designed to distract him for the right to the body.
Yeah, it didn't even work. Look, he didn't even eat it.
I know, but I mean, it's like what I'm highlighting here, Bucho, is the reflexes.
Yeah, the reflex. Yeah, I know. The good reflexes.
Right. See, that's something that Golovkin did not have. Golovkin would go in and then just cover up, put his head down, and be open for straight shots and uppercuts. And he could do that against guys like Willie Monroe, who don't really have that great punching power. Well, against Derevianchenko, like Gonzalo said, he was just snapping his head back with those shots. And now you can say, oh, Golovkin wasn't hurt by them. Okay, he wasn't wobbled by those shots, but I'm telling you, he was hurt, and he was hurt the next day too. So it's not like those shots weren't bothering him. You see what I'm saying? So Charlo has that advantage over Golovkin. He's not a still target. He's got reflex on his side, youth, he's fresh, and just like Jacobs against Derevianchenko. So that's something that Derevianchenko is going to have to watch out for.
That's a good move by Charlo, Mr. BDA, but I think he still got clipped on the tip of the chin, right?
Barely. He got grazed. He escaped it.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Korovov is slow as fuck. You know what I mean? But he definitely has very good. And this is gonna be the difference, right? Because I mean, I remember in the last shows ago, I remember two shows ago, Stu was talking about how Golovkin is very stiff now and because he's older. And I mean, Derevianchenko is now fighting an athletic, younger fighter, so it's gonna be a different definitely fight.
Yeah, I think so, man. It's a different fight for sure. Different style of fight.
I know it's a different fight, but you know what I mean, right? Like,
right, yeah.
Are gonna come into play. Yeah.
Let me. All right. So let's change this up. Because I got more examples. This is against Julian Williams. So see, Williams goes for a jab, a 1-2, and Charlo very efficiently using footwork to turn. First of all, he backs up, he leans back and backs up, and then he turns Williams. See how he does there? He turns him there, not quite a pivot, just shifting with his legs. And it's he's that also reflexes. You know, it's like he can see the punches coming for the most part, and very efficiently move away without necessarily running. And Williams is a precise puncher. Now, of course, he's smaller than Charlo. By the way, Julian Williams is listed as 5'10" according to BoxRec, but he looked shorter than that against Charlo. The other guy that we're going to take a look at later on is Brandon Adams. He looked extremely short against Charlo, but they say Derevianchenko is the same height as Brandon Adams according to BoxRec, 5 feet 9 inches tall. So how is Derevianchenko going to look against Charlo there? Is he going to be a midget, or is the height wrong on BoxRec?
Could be. Now somebody in the chat, James Thornton, makes a good point. It's because Charlo has long arms.
That's a good point.
BoxRec is always wrong because for BoxRec you don't have to go take the measurements anywhere. Your manager can just call BoxRec. Your manager can just call and tell them this is this is his height and this is his length, and they'll annotate it. That's a fact.
Listen, check this out. Hello.
Oh, we got Johnny Boy on the line. How you doing, man? Yeah.
What's up?
I'm sorry, BDA. Did I interrupt somebody?
I said, how you doing? Good to have you on board.
Oh, how you doing, brother?
Good.
Listen, we're gonna have a little Q&A without making to not make yourself redundant, make your answers genuine. Now, here's what's gonna happen. Charlo's gonna knock out Rosario. The other one I don't know about. And Luke Campbell's gonna kill the Queen. Okay? I can't do it. I can't wait. This
the Queen
is looking forward to both of these fights.
Let me tell you something.
Very much so.
Let me tell you something. The Queen is tougher than you give her credit for. He's talking about Ryan Garcia, by the way. For those of you that don't know. Here's what's going to
happen, because me and Gonzalo got to set this wager up. I wanted to talk. But anyways, here's what's going to happen. Those Chavez shrines, they're all going to become Luke Campbell shrines. Okay?
All right. We'll see, man. We'll see. By the way, let's go to the phone lines real quick because we've got people waiting here. 407, you're on the line. 407.
Hey guys, I just wanted to give a little bit of feedback on some of the things that you mentioned.
Right.
Now, honestly, I think they're gonna have Charlo as a favorite, but I think Derevianchenko is gonna do the opposite outcome because I don't think he's dealt with anyone with that pressure or was that experience because maybe H could catch up with Derevianchenko, but I just feel like the unorthodox combinations that Derevianchenko throws often is going to be a huge challenge for Charlo, along with the pace that he's going to bring, and I think he's going to put him out with liver shot in 10 or 11.
Oh, you've heard that? Is this Virtuoso or is this who is this?
Boricua, Jesse Medina.
Boricua, Jesse Medina. Thank you for calling me Boricua. Yeah. Oh shit. All right. So Boricua is saying Derevianchenko round 9 body shot. I mean that's.
Smart man.
No, hold on. Before we continue,
Wait, what?
Hold on. Before we continue, shout out to Chad Collins who just contributed with the super chat. He says, "Good evening, BDA, Kingster, and Chad. Hope everyone is fine. I got Garcia by KO 6 over Campbell. Kaboom!" Oh, Chad Collins coming in with the bold prediction too. Him and Boricua for different fights, but nevertheless bold prediction. So thank you, Chad, for your contribution. Really appreciate it. And we'll do a similar presentation to this one for Campbell versus for Garcia. But thank you again, Chad. Boricua, that's a bold prediction. You don't think that the fact that Charlo has never fought anybody like Derevianchenko, you think it's going to catch up to him in this fight?
Yes, but there is a chance that Charlo could win, though. But what he has to do is treat his power like accumulation power. By that I mean he needs to set up certain shots and just treat it like accumulation power. Because I know he's had those one-shot knockouts, but he can't treat his power like that in this fight. Because if he does, he's going to be in for a world of trouble.
Well, there you have.
Boricua, this people are failing to remember this isn't Brian Adams he's fighting. Baby, you're all that I want. Looking at. See, this ain't Brian Adams getting in the ring with over here, bro. And all this shit about Charlo's power, so you're telling me Charlo hits harder than Golovkin does? Okay, then. Exactly.
Oh hell no.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, Jacobs dropped Derevianchenko, right? And Golovkin couldn't do it. So I'm not saying. I mean, we're not saying that Jacobs hits harder than Golovkin.
Right. It's a styles
Oh,
make fights type of thing.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. Derevianchenko might feel so comfortable unleashing his combinations just because Jermall Charlo doesn't throw that many punches that he can fall into a lull, and Jermall Charlo being a precise puncher might catch him cold or unexpectedly because he's gonna switch up the level of punching power.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Boricua, anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, that was it. But I have a great evening, guys. God bless.
All right, you too, man. Thank you for calling in, man. Take it easy. Bucho, I got a question for you real quick. If I got an extension here for the volume, it has to be on which page for it to work? Because I'm on which tab? Because I'm fiddling with it and I don't
don't
hear
do it. Don't do it. It's gonna fuck up.
All right. All right. We got another phone call. Actually, let's move on with guys. Stay on the line. We'll take more phone calls as the night goes on, but we got to keep this moving because we're just on Charlo today. I wanted to do it on both guys, but then I didn't have the time to finish it. And now I think it's a good thing because otherwise we'd be here all night. But let's continue with the presentation and then we'll continue with the phone calls as we go along. Okay, fellas. So let's go. Okay, so we're still talking about the reflexes here. Again, I think he's got great reflex. Here's another example against Julian Williams, who's a pretty quick guy. Williams is very quick on the draw. So you see here, Charlo jabs, Julian Williams parries it, and he tries to counter with a quick right hand. But Charlo, again, just perfect distance to just get away. And see how he jumps, he leaps back just a little bit, just a little step back, but he's not running away. He's still staying right in front of Julian Williams. But again, he missed with the jab. Like Bucho said, it's he didn't really hit him. But then again, he was being a little bit hesitant.
I'm just happy that Charlo's decided to finally grow a pair of testicles. How old are they now? 34? Took you that long to grow some testes?
You're talking about Charlo.
30, yeah, but yeah, that's what I was talking about.
The Charlo sisters. Yeah. Listen.
The Charlo sisters, come on.
That's what I call them. That's who they are. They're the Charlo broads. My mom was a twin.
No kidding.
The Charlo sisters. Now, let me ask you a question. Who has better feet? Derevianchenko or Brian Adams? Summer of 6 in that.
Sorry,
better feet.
Yeah, Derevianchenko, like more.
Okay, yeah.
I tell you what, though. Yeah, go ahead.
Brian, I'm sorry, BDA.
Go ahead.
Brian Adams was coming in and out, touching him up. He's a bum. Okay? For his power, like I say, does Charlo hit punch harder than Golovkin? No. Was Derevianchenko able to take shots from Golovkin? Yes. The only thing I will say, the reason I'm on the fence about this fight is how much did that fight take out of Derevianchenko. I have to see him in training camp before I give an official prediction. The other one's a layup. That Charlo sister number 2 knocks out Rosario. Rosario's he's been in there with nobody but J-Rock. J-Rock doesn't have a chin, so that's a layup for me. But the other one's the interesting one because I want to see what he looks like in training. Now, if that Golovkin fight didn't take too much out of him, he's going to fuck Charlo up, bro. I'm promising you that.
See, one thing about Golovkin, Johnny, is that he does hit really hard, but he is, at this stage in his career, he's really slow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Derevianchenko was expecting those punches to come to where Charlo might throw a sneaky shot that Derevianchenko might not be expecting or see coming. And that might be his downfall.
I agree. And we're going to get to that later as we go to the power example here. And not just last example here of reflexes. This was against Dennis Hogan. Now, I know Hogan was coming up in weight from 154, but he had given, Munguia hell. Munguia couldn't quite cut off the ring. He was missing widely and very badly. Meanwhile, Charlo goes in there and knocks Hogan out. So he definitely did better than Munguia. Now here you see him stepping in with a jab, and just again stepping back at the last second, but making Hogan miss with those wild swings of his. Again, Hogan is not a good fighter coming forward at all. He's more of a back foot fighter.
He's walking.
Okay, anybody named Dennis can't fight to begin with, first of all. Second of all,
great point.
Anybody named Dennis can't fight. Oh, there's no Dennises with fucking hands on this planet. Okay, that's number one.
Dennis a menace.
Yeah, Dennis the Menace. I fucking kicked him out of school. Anyways, he fucking, this fucking guy, dude, listen, bro. He's, as long as he's somebody in the chat said, well, Triple G dropped him. Yeah, and then he got up and fucked Golovkin up. Bro, what does that mean?
Okay, yeah, but you keep going back to the Golovkin fight. We're talking about Charlo's attributes here and the reflexes, and this type of thing here, the reflexes and the foot speed, is something that Golovkin just doesn't have at this point. I mean, there were a lot of parts in that Derevianchenko fight where he was just standing in front of Derevianchenko and taking shot after shot after shot. I mean, it was sad to watch because go ahead.
Taking shots, waiting for what you were saying. He was just taking shots and waiting for him to land the big shot, right? Theoretically speaking, he's a harder puncher, but he wasn't hurting Derevianchenko. I mean, he did bust his face, but I'm saying he didn't hurt him to the point where Golovkin was looking for a knock. I think, as well as boxing, but that's what Golovkin has that power. He believes in his power. You don't think that he was trying to stop fucking Derevianchenko? He couldn't.
Exactly.
He hit him multiple times.
That's a good point too, BDA. That's a good point. That's a fair point too.
But listen, and I'm gonna show everything that I'm talking about here because there are big differences. Now, one thing that we're talking about the reflexes. Here is the power and the reflexes combined, and the fundamentals, which we also talked about as being one of Charlo's attributes. Again, Hogan, yeah, this is to Hogan's discredit because he's not a come forward fighter. He sucks coming forward. Look at him, all wild, head down. I think even it even looks like he's not even watching what he's doing. It looks very amateurish, but to Charlo's credit, he anticipated it. And look how he keeps every time he throws the left hand, he keeps that right hand pinned to the side of his face. Like I said, good fundamentals. Actually, there was a point where he could have been hit with a left hook. If you notice his glove, it's not actually on the like there. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is the reflexes. And he anticipates things. You can tell he drills this on the pads. And down went Hogan. And so that's something that Derevianchenko is going to have to watch out for. What the hell is this? Hold on. How come there's a... No, I got it twice? What the fuck? Okay. Now, when we're talking about reflexes, boom. This is against Julian Williams. And Julian Williams was catching him a little bit with the 1-2s. And Charlo, I didn't include the GIFs here, but I'll do it in another video or another presentation. He actually anticipated. He was trying to counter with that uppercut multiple times before this actually happened. He just finally was able to pull it off. Here, look at this. Beautiful. Rolls, comes back with a right uppercut, and Williams goes out. Now, Johnny Boy, to your point, it's true though. Now, after the Rosario fight, it took a little luster off his win. Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah. Well, listen, bro. I mean, everybody was all high on J-Rock after he beat Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd's a fucking idiot, dog. He just stands there. I could land punches. I could land fucking combinations off on Jared Hurd. Nah, shit. I could land fucking flurries off on Jared Hurd. He's a big fucking momo.
When you say flurries, you're talking about the McDonald's ice cream drink, or you're talking about actual punches?
No, I'm talking about these hands. But I'm saying listen. J-Rock's a McRib. He only comes around once a year. You understand?
Oh. Yeah, that you could say my place for my girlfriend. She only comes once a year when I feel generous. But listen, the point is this, man. Yeah, Julian Williams has a bad chin, but I was very impressed with the fucking Jared Hurd win because, like I said before the fight, I said, yeah, Julian Williams is going to land off him, but can he keep it up? And or is he going to get overwhelmed by Jared Hurd? And it turns out he kept up the pace and schooled Jared Hurd. But the point is this, though. This was a beautiful counter from Charlo. And that's the main point. Go ahead, Gonzalo. Do you want to say something?
No, I'm just agreeing. That's right. It was the same punch, an uppercut. That right uppercut.
What did J-Rock do wrong here, guys?
Fucking Stephen Hawking could hit Jared Hurd for Christ's sake.
Okay, but this is Julian Williams though we're talking about.
Yeah, what did J-Rock do?
That's a punch that's gonna be. If he uses it against Derevianchenko, that's gonna be gold. Because Derevianchenko's low.
Now, Bucho,
Slow got that square jaw, and it's a good target to throw that punch.
By the way, point with the Hurd reference was that was J-Rock's biggest win. Okay, that was my point of that.
Tito Toledo in the chat says, in regards to your statement that you could land flurries on Jared Hurd, he says, no, you couldn't. He's going after you, man. No, you couldn't.
Listen, I heard you and your little boy, your little here. Do you and your little boyfriend want another picture of me with your shirt off for your wallet, T-Tone, or what's the deal, dog?
The hell's wrong with you? The hell's wrong with you? Look like a Puerto Rican whore.
Listen, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but yeah, I mean, obviously I don't think Johnny Boy believes he could land flurries on Jared Hurd, but he's saying it's a way of comically saying Jared Hurd's defense stinks. I think that's what he was getting at. Now, Butcher, you asked the question, what did Julian Williams do wrong here? Very little. Very little. It was just, first of all, he could have kept going. He could have moved the head right there. After he threw
too long.
Yeah, he stayed there for a split second. But he also should have, as soon as he missed, he should have kept rolling or kept going with his head so that he would switch the angle and avoided that uppercut. He could have made it miss. But he went back into position. And for that split second, he was open for that right uppercut. And it was, these things happen fast, man. I mean, we're looking at it in slow motion now, but it's split second timing that happens here in boxing. And this is exactly, when we're talking about reflexes, this is what Golovkin was not doing and couldn't do against Golovkin. There were no counter punches from Golovkin. The only counter punch I really saw, actually, now that I think about it, was a counter jab. But other than that, there were no power punches coming back Derevianchenko's way, which is what allowed Derevianchenko to just flurry, because he knew Golovkin was just, if you flurry against him, he's just going to cover up. He's not going to counter you with anything.
You know what J-Rock did wrong? He didn't have a chin. That's what he did wrong.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, he should change his nickname. He shouldn't be J-Rock, because he don't got no rock of a chin.
I was going to say, though, they always say the punch that you don't see coming is the one that hurts the most or hurts you the most. Like,
right.
Just a little bit of the difference.
It should be Julian Meat Flaps Williams. That's what it should be. Okay.
Look, that's it. That's in it. Like you said, BDA. That's it happens in a fraction, split of a second. In real time, it's not. It's different. So he's got Jermall Charlo got skills because he's implementing the catch and shoot. And although he knew the punch was coming, he kind of blocked it and weathered the full force of it, but he knew that he still was going to get hit, so he didn't lose his position, and he still was holding his position to throw his own punch, that uppercut.
Yeah, that's what Reese Mack in the chat room says. He says Charlo didn't even move his feet for the counter, right? Because he was anticipating it, and you need cold blood to do that. I mean, if you're jittery and all that, it's good luck. You got to have confidence that you're going to be able to pull it off. And Charlo definitely has. Like I said, in one of his strengths, he's got confidence. He's got moxie.
I find it ironic that J-Rock's little Allah buddies prayed to him and it still didn't help him in that fight.
Well, yeah, it's quite something. Now, somebody's, hold on. Jonathan Morrison, a.k.a. Jackson, says they should call him J-Crack. Oh! With the fucking jokes. He also says Johnny is right for once. Chenko would box circles around Charlo. Hey, we'll see, man. We will see. We'll see what happens coming up.
You almost addressed yourself like a gentleman for once, too. Congrats, John. I'm real proud of you. You got the wisdom of a 90-year-old man.
Oh. Okay, now
definitely. Definitely, Johnny. I agree that Derevianchenko is going to be winning the fight, and he's going to be changing the angles and landing a lot of shots. Just my thing is I think that eventually he'll get caught in the end. But anyways, sorry, Beauty.
That's okay, man. This is what it's all about, man. Input. I want to get you.
That's fair enough, Gonzalo. It's a good fight. Yeah,
Amok PvP says Kobrov should have gotten the rematch, to be honest. Yeah, he really, they didn't want a part of him anymore. It was a close call. He was a last minute replacement. As soon as they got the win, they said, whoops, let's move on. DJ N1 says, against Hurd, he took shots, but Hurd's punching punches similar to Triple G. Exactly, DJ in one. It's about styles and it's about the type. Look at here. I'm showing you here. This was against the Pirate, Highland, the one-legged Pirate. But still, I mean, that's a big-ass right hand there. And what I like about it, going back to the fundamentals too, is he anticipated it. He covered up for the right hook. See there, boom. Dips down and comes up with an overhand right and just dropped Centeno. Wait a minute. Was it Centeno or Highland? I think it was Highland, right? The one-legged guy?
Yeah, that was the...
I think that's not... Jesus.
I think that's Highland.
Is that Cota? El Demonio Cota?
Highland? Oh, yeah. I think... Well, whatever. Listen. Highland, yeah. Virtuoso says...
Like Cota.
Virtuoso says it's Highland. The Highlander. So yeah, that's him.
Let's say.
No, that guy getting punched right there. That's Jorge Cota.
That's El Demonio Cota. Yes.
All right, whatever. All right, now when we talk about the power of the reflexes, this is when he hurt. And Gonzalo, you mentioned this part here earlier in the show. This is when he hurt Kobrov late in the fight. Again, look at how he right hand gets a little too close, but he had his hands up, covered up for flurry. All right, so who wants to go? Who wants to point? Because I'm talking a lot here.
No, go ahead, BDA. I was just watching. Yeah, he did rock him.
He timed him perfectly here. There, he avoided a headbutt there. That could have been a headbutt. And then boom, left hook. And one of the criticisms I had about the Cobra fight is he wasn't really letting his hand go. He was looking for that perfect punch way too much. He was trying to counter Kobrov too. But then finally he got to him here in the 12th round. But then again, though, Kobrov was training for an 8-rounder in this fight. And then he had a week's notice to change opponents against Charlo. So he was schooling Charlo for long stretches of the fight. And then finally at the end, since he wasn't prepared for a 12-rounder, this is when he got caught. So it takes a little bit of credit away from Charlo. But nevertheless, it's a good sequence here. Catching the guy with the hands down. Boom. Now, Kobrov... Yeah.
Sorry, BD.
No, go ahead.
Here, I'm going to be the oracle of this fight, okay? Like Matrix. One of you is going to die. Whether it's Morpheus or Neo, whether it's Charlo's Sister 1 or Charlo's Sister 2. One of them's going to die, and Johnny's going to be in the bottom of a dark train station going, Mr. Charlo. Yeah. All right? This is going to happen.
That's about as good a prediction as we've had on this show, man. I'm going to tell you. Hold on a second. My phone's acting up here. What the fuck?
Do you think it's a good idea, BDA, that they do a doubleheader like they did the first time when the first guy lost the fight against Tony Harrison, and that performance might have affected the second brother?
Well, that's what people are saying. They're saying, oh, they shouldn't do it because the last time they did it, they ended up losing. But on the one hand, these guys, sports stars, well, not stars, but these sports guys, athletes, they tend to be very superstitious sometimes, and small things can set them off. Now, these guys, this is a big one to set them off, but I think they're consummate professionals, and I don't think it's going to get to them. I don't think it's that bad idea. Now, of course, I could be wrong, Gonzalo. Maybe if Jermel gets iced by Rosario, maybe it does affect Charlo, but I don't think so. I wouldn't think it. I think they're tough guys mentally when it comes to the actual fight. What does everybody else think? Good idea that they're on the same card?
I think Bucho said that one of the Charlos was crying in the dressing room. I guess it was this guy.
Whoa.
Was crying when his brother lost.
Really? So before his before his fight, Jermel was crying after Jermel lost against Harrison. What the fuck? What are they crying for?
Jermel cried when his brother lost. Then the one that lost, he cried in the press conference when he mentioned that comment about the video games. So they both cried.
I mean, I cried a little happy tear when Pacquiao beat Thurman, but that's just me because I knew what time
it's not even like he got knocked out or anything. He lost a decision. And it was a close decision. So what the fuck's he gonna cry about?
You know who else had to cry, VDA, was Danny Garcia after he lost that Keith Thurman decision. Didn't have anything broken, didn't have any injuries, but still decided to take a year off because he's also a fucking bum. Now, yeah, I'm sure life's real tough with that Erica Mendez chick bouncing on your dick, Danny. I'm sure life's real hard.
Cry me a river, you fat fucking baby.
Yeah, man, what the fuck? Go ahead, Gonzalo.
that card, I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of like trivial for me. Maybe I don't know boxing like I think I do, but I actually thought the first Charlo beat Tony Harrison. That first fight. I'm just gonna be honest. In that second fight, I thought Korobov won, but they actually had it the other way around. That kind of
Gonzalo, you
affected
know what's
maybe
funny,
the way
dude?
they act.
You know what's funny, dude? I thought Charlo won that first Harrison fight myself, but I was still happy with the decision. You know, it was about time. A good guy, all the good guys always get robbed. Loma Pacquiao, they were setting Usyk up for failure against Bellew in England. Triple G, all the good people always get robbed. It was about time a piece of shit got a bad decision once in a while too. You know.
Can't argue with that. I gotta tell you.
You know what
All right.
I'm saying, BDA? All
Yeah,
the good guys always get bad decisions, but the bad guys never get bad decisions.
Yeah, you're right, man. Now here, this is when he dropped Hogan, which again I thought it was a bit of an early stoppage, but nevertheless, you can't deny the fact that it was a beautiful move. He feinted with the jab. I don't have this one in slow motion though. I should have put it in slow motion, but you can see there for a little bit he feints with the jab, and then he throws a lead left hook, and boom, drops Hogan. Again, this is something that Munguia couldn't do. So you got to give Charlo credit for this one. I mean, beautiful setup, and this is the type of stuff that he should have done more against Kobrov. He wasn't fainting enough against Kobrov. Sometimes he was waiting a little bit too much, but against Hogan, it seems like he learned his lesson and finally was able to take out the speedy guy.
Pretty explosive.
Yeah. Now here we're talking defense. I like how he always keeps his hands in, well, always, for the most part, he keeps his hands in position. He's always ready to counter. And here, Kobrov comes in with a left hand and then a right hook. And Charlo just blocks the left and then rolls with the right hook. Look at that. Boom, boom. Reflexes, fundamentals, defense. I mean, the whole package. So if Derevianchenko comes in in a straight line, he's going to have to mix up the punches. Otherwise, he's going to be missing. Because Charlo, he's got decent defense. He's not a defensive wizard, but he's pretty well schooled. Now here again, another... Yeah, go ahead, Gonzalo.
Catches punches very well. Stays in position like somebody mentioned in the chat. He doesn't move his feet.
Hey, by the way,
he inches backwards, but he's still intent on punching himself. So he's gonna maintain his position so he can punch you back while blocking the shots.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying here, man. He wants to catch guys with shots. I mean, he's not just in there pity-patting and running around the ring, throwing one shot at a time. Like, see this sequence here. He parries the left, steps just a small step back, just enough to get out of the way. Kovrov keeps going, and boom, he gets hit with a right uppercut. And again, these type of counters, this is something that Derevianchenko does not, that Golovkin was not doing as Derevianchenko. And guess what? I'm going to show it to you when we do the Derevianchenko presentation. Derevianchenko's open for those right uppercuts, man. He's open for uppercuts. I got the evidence to back this up. I got the documents. I got the documentation. Wow. Go ahead.
That's what I was saying in the chat. I said, like an uppercut, man. That can do the job.
Yeah. That's, you know what? That Jermall Charlo uppercut's really looking good about now.
That's right.
I haven't noticed it, but it's definitely one of his strengths. That right uppercut. Catch and shoot. Throw that sneaky right uppercut. He's going to be able to get that guy that's 5'9" with that big head, big chin. He's going to be able to sneak it in there.
Mm-hmm. Official Scorecard Boxing says he's doing a great job of staying on balance. Absolutely. Like, if you know boxing, everything you're seeing here, this evidence, it just goes to show you he's a well-schooled guy, man. I mean, look at that. On balance. Actually, there were certain spots. I can show you certain spots when he gets into exchanges. That's when he gets a little wild. But he seems to be in his element as a boxer puncher. So if he times Derevianchenko correctly, he could put him down. Not out maybe, but could put him down. All right. So now this is against what's his name? Brandon Adams, or Brian Adams, as Johnny Boy likes to call him. Brandon Adams, a very short guy. In this spot, he tried to get on the inside against him. See that? But see how Charlo keeps his hands up, his chin tucked in between his shoulders, so that he's blocking. He's becoming as small a target as he can. And look at that beautiful uppercut on the inside. Oh, so he blocks it here, misses with the left hook. Brandon Adams comes right back in there. Hold on. And he sets him up, boom. And he held him in place. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he held him in place a little bit with the elbow, with the left elbow to create some space to launch that right uppercut. You're going to see that here in a couple of seconds. Like right there. See there? How he held him in place with the left elbow? So again, that right uppercut, man, oof. I'm telling you, Derevianchenko, I should have put some clips here, but I ran out of time. But he's going to be open for that right uppercut. And it's a pretty good uppercut up close. It's not even just like against Julian Williams, he had distance to throw that right uppercut. But now here, he's showing you that he can also throw it up close.
One thing I have to say about Brandon Adams, that he might not be the most talented fighter, but he's definitely a gym rat. You can tell by his physique. I saw some of the drills he was doing. Kind of reminds me of the way Timothy Bradley used to train.
In what sense?
The physical conditioning that this Brandon Adams looks in, and the way that I saw some videos on him like prior, like when this fight happened.
Mm-hmm.
Just like his physical conditioning, he looks like a specimen. I mean, he's a short guy for a middleweight, but comparable to Timothy Bradley, that was a short welterweight, right? But he was definitely in shape, just like this guy is definitely a in shape type of fighter. Although he's not talented, he's in very good condition.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say that about Brandon Williams.
But here's my thing, though. But you're very right. I mean, Brandon Adams, like you said, he's a small guy, very athletic, short guy for his weight. Which brings me to the point of how tall is he really? Because he looks way too small, shorter compared to Charlo. And they say he's 5'9", and they say Derevianchenko's 5'9" too. But he didn't look that much outsized when he fought Jacobs, Derevianchenko that is. And Jacobs is listed as being 6 feet tall as well. Actually, they list him as 5'11", and Derevianchenko didn't look that small. So my question is, who's lying here? Is Brandon Adams maybe really Brandon Adams? I should say, is Brandon Adams really 5'9", or is he more like 5'8" or something?
He's like 5'8". He looks like 5'7" right there.
Yeah.
Brian Adams started to shrink after releasing the hit Summer of '69. All right.
Brandon Adams is like the size of a Jack Koke as far as height. Jack Koke was kind of small too.
When's this gonna stop, the Brian Adams? Because now you got me all fucked up, Johnny boy. Every time I say Brandon, instead of Brandon, I say Brandon. I mean,
dude, his name's Brian, not Brandon. He used to be a singer in the '80s. You remember BDA?
I do, yeah. Once for all, one for all, and one for love, or whatever the fuck that song was. All right, he's got good fundamentals, like I said, Charlo, on the inside. He can actually fight on the inside a little bit. Now we get to the weaknesses. He tends to overshoot the target sometimes. He's got imperfect defense, so he's, like I said before, he's not a defensive wizard. He's pretty good, but again, he's no. Let's just put it this way: he's no Lomachenko in there, or a Floyd Mayweather. And his lack of pressure. Sometimes he tends to wait a little bit too much. But don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at the evidence. Look at him here, how Kovarov's good footwork turns him, and Charlo keeps. See how that's the thing. He keeps advancing sometimes. And he's just, look at this, off balance. His legs come together a little bit, and that's why he's off balance. And overreaching. And that's how Kovarov was able to catch him a bunch of times with counters. Although I will say against Derevianchenko, he might not have that problem too much because Derevianchenko is going to be looking for him. He's not going to be running. But I've seen clips where Derevianchenko takes little steps back just to counter as well. He can counter, so Charles going to have to be careful. He's not fighting Golovkin in there who doesn't counter. He's fighting a guy who's a little bit fresher than Golovkin, and he's going to have to watch out.
A little bit.
Now here against Brandon Adams, they got into an exchange, and he caught an elbow there. Boom! Look at this.
Jesus.
Boom. He could have very easily caught an overhand right. And Derevianchenko, one thing I like about Derevianchenko, and as we're going to talk about it when we get to him, this guy doesn't give a fuck. I mean, he stood in front of Golovkin. Sometimes Golovkin would hit him with a nice overhand right, and Derevianchenko would answer back with like 4 punches in a row. He's got that killer instinct, man. He wants to rumble. And, you know, he hasn't had a lot of fights, but like I said, he's been in there with strong guys like Torano Johnson, Daniel Jacobs, and now Golovkin. So against Charlo, trust me when I say he's not going to be gun shy. And if they trade this way, yeah, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, if another fair point we should also mention is that Charlo hasn't fought anyone in the top 10 at 160 up to this point. This is his first. He's losing his virginity in this fight.
Mhm.
Okay? Yeah. Just saying.
On pay-per-view. On pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You can't deny that this is Charlo's best opponent. And if you want to say that he's not ready for it, or that he's going to get exposed, which is a word that I don't like, because it's not like anybody's, other than the LDBC guys, it's not like anybody's hyping him up to be this great superstar pound for pounder. But look, here he's overshooting it too a little bit too. See how he's a little bit too close to the shorter Adams. Now, what I said about Derevianchenko applies to Charlo too. Charlo likes to put some pop into his shots. He's not afraid to invest in shots. But here, he could have gotten hit, but with a right hand. And official scorecard boxing in the chat room says it's visible that Charlo and Spence work with the same coach, who's very invested in basics, high guard, balance. The only difference is Spence is in the counter puncher. Well, I agree with everything you said, official, but I will say that Spence is trained by the Rosier, who trains Spence, while this Charlo is trained by Ronnie Shields. But I think at some point they had the same trainer. I think. So you could be right about that.
Both with that Derek James fuckhead.
I mean, yeah, Derek James. Yes, I always confuse him with him and Rosier. But yeah, this Charlo is with Ronnie Shields, and the smaller Charlo is with Rosier. I mean, what's his other name? Derek James. Derek James.
He's kind of a fuckhead too. I don't care much for that guy.
Neither do I, man. I mean, when Lubin got knocked out by Charlo, and then you see the guy there, he opens up his shirt. Derek James. He opens up his sports coat. He's got a shirt that says "You've been knocked the fuck out" or something like that. I'm thinking, man, that's a little unprofessional. It's like it's one thing for a young fighter like the Charlo to get into a Twitter beef. It's another for the trainer to start participating in that. And by the way, may I also say that I think Derek James, I think he's batting for the pink team, because there was a clip where he's with Julio Chavez Jr. Eli Sandbach is interviewing Chavez Jr. And then Derek James is there at the same time, and he asks Derek James, "Oh, yeah, Chavez is dressed well, isn't he?" And Derek James is eyeing him up and down like a slab of meat. I'm thinking, all right, I don't know what's wrong with this guy, but it's like he wants, I don't know, he's batting for the pink team. I think nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying it's bizarre.
Yeah, I recall that.
Oh, you remember that one? All right, happy I'm not the only one to who saw that. I should have included a GIF of that, right, Bucho? Just to show people what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on here. We're almost done here. This is another point where he overshoots the runway, as I like to call it. See how he gets way too close. And Julian Williams, he's very quick on the trigger. Quicker than Derevianchenko, though. But look at that. See how Charlo stepped in there with the jab and kept going forward. He should have just taken another little step forward or not at all. But he ended up running into the right hand. I'm telling you, Derevianchenko, if he plants his feet, he could put this Charlo in trouble, man.
And another thing that I have to admit, well, this is only like my thinking. During this coronavirus standstill, they might be burning the midnight oil, training, and just getting better, like working on their craft. And I think this, ever since that loss in that close fight against Korobov, I'm talking about both brothers.
Mm-hmm.
They probably told themselves, we got to step it up. Like everybody's saying they're 30, so I think they've been training, burning that midnight oil.
It's a good point, man. I didn't think about that. Like some of these guys who are training, on and off, maybe they don't hit their peak when they have to or when they're supposed to, and it could affect their rhythm. That's a good point, man. Especially like we said that he's very volatile psychologically, this Charlo. So maybe he'll jump in even though he might not be at his peak or something. But I mean, I don't know. Same thing could be said with Derevianchenko though. So it could be a disadvantage for both guys, not just for one of them.
Because if they were involved in drama with some people stealing their purses and all that news that was happening, like that certainly hasn't happened recently. So they might have just matured.
Right
around this stage in their life.
Hopefully.
I hear no drama lately.
What was I do? You can't fix stupid, and both those fuckers are dumb. That's what it is. If you're still running around nightclubs getting your fucking wallet stole from you at 30 some odd years old,
Yeah, but that was a long time ago, Johnny. That was a long time. That was about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Right now, I seen some videos where they're helping out his grandma, and they're making her a house or something like that.
And Zalo, the one brother just got arrested for kicking the shit out of some dude at a fucking house party. They're morons.
Well, listen, the fighters are gonna be like that, volatile too. They're not always gonna be perfect.
They're both fucking pussies.
Remember too that some people here they speculate. Again, I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but people have speculated on this show that the Charlos they might be on the coca, on the yayu a little bit outside the ring.
Yeah. Let's also not forget to mention that every time Vada rolls into town, they're on vacation or fucking something happened.
Oh yeah, because Thomas Hauser talked about that. I think it was both Charlos or one of them. I forget which was which. Maybe you can clarify that for me, Johnny Boy. But just to tell people the story, what happened was the Charlos were supposed to get drug tested at random, and the people from USADA or VADA, whatever it was, they couldn't get a hold of them. And then when they got called out on it, one of the Charlos said on Twitter, "Oh, it's because we got obligations. We're fighters. We got a life, and we had to do press obligations." But then, like Thomas Hauser said in an article, he says, if they didn't need to have a press obligation or a TV appearance or whatever, it could have been visible. Like if they were on Fox Sports or something, then you would have known. Oh, okay, at this time they were on Fox Sports, but they never said what the obligation was. They never appeared anywhere there, and it's not like they were doing an interview or anything. So it was very bizarre. And let's not forget also Jimmy speculated that he's heard rumors. Again, it's just rumors, but that over at Ronnie Shields' gym, there's some hijinks going on with performance-enhancing drugs. That's what he said. So where there's smoke, there's fire, I suppose. I mean,
black privilege. Did I say that? Oh shit!
I think you did. No, I think it was the win or something.
Yeah, I think maybe it was 78. I don't know. Anyways,
I think Carmine's across the street. I don't know.
Yeah, he ain't here no more. Carmine left.
Carmine left?
Huh?
Carmine left?
Yeah, he ain't here no more.
He ain't here no more. All right, well, listen, thanks a lot, man. Take care.
Yeah, good luck with the joint, man. Good luck with the joint.
I hope people know what we're talking about, because
they'd be playing that fucking movie on Showtime all the time. I watch that cocksucker every time it's on. I fucking love that movie. But I what's it called?
Where are you going?
Look, this is the thing about this card. I don't mind this card being on pay-per-view. The Tank Davis and get that shit out of here. Get that fuck out of here. I ain't paying a fucking nickel for that one. The only problem with this is if I pay for it, if I talk to you and you turn me into a fag, I'm gonna kill you, understand? But anyways, if I pay for this fucking card and both Charlos win, I'm gonna be pissed.
Well, click your heels 2 times, Dorothy, and wish for going back to Kansas, because it might just happen. Wish upon a star, man. What?
The plan. The
Which is why I'm
plan.
not
Can't
gonna
go
pay.
wrong.
Hey, by the way, I want to say something here. This card, it ain't all that bad, man. Hold on, this Charlo card. Look, they got the 2 Charlos. Okay, good. Brandon Figueroa versus Damian Vasquez. That's a nice little fight right there, too. Then you got Mario Barrios, who I thought shouldn't have gotten the win against that Soviet dude, or not Soviet, but I forget where he's from. Taking on Ryan Carl. This is also going to be a good fight. Now, for these 2 other fights, they're not the best. Diego Magdaleno, Isaac Cruz, and Daniel Roman versus TBA. But by the way, is this fight, is there going to be a crowd, or have they talked about, speculated about whether they're going to be opening up the crowds in September? Or
the next dude, the next dude that comes to one of my streams and says Lomachenko Teofimo's set because dumbass Mike Compinger said some dumb shit on Twitter is getting stabbed in the fucking throat. I swear.
Oh, wait a minute. You can talk
come
that way.
Over there. Come okay. When there's a when and a where, then you come tell me. Stop blue balling me over here.
All right.
That's what Not you guys, obviously, but fuckos.
I got you. I got you. A Fun Critique in the chat said, I think they said no crowds. All right. Well, there you have it. I mean,
No, definitely the world has changed. Look, the whole crowd thing, it's not going to be anywhere to where it was like until like maybe 2022. That's a fact.
Jesus Christ.
people need to move on from this. People need to move on from this COVID thing.
Fighters are going to have to start accepting fights.
Bullshit? What's the survival rate of this bullshit?
Yeah, what's the survival rate? Like 99% or something like that? 100%? I mean, I got to tell you, this.
0.99?
People got to move on, man. People got to move on.
You gotta wake up.
Speaking of moving on, let's finish up this presentation here. I think we're almost done. And then you got this, the lack of pressure. Hold on, how much do we got? Oh yeah, we're done. Almost done. Lack of pressure. Now, this is just one example. I'll put more up if people are unconvinced in the next episode. Look at him. He's just staring at Kobrov here. This is the fourth round. He was missing for the most part within these 4 rounds. He's just staring at Kobrov. No feints, no pressure. It's like that's what separates Canelo from the rest of a guy like Charlo. Is Canelo will feint. He'll throw shots from all angles. And again, it's not like Charlo's completely inept. I think he did learn from this fight, from this Kobrov fight. But it just goes to show you that if Kobrov decides to get on his bike or something, it's gonna throw Charlo off for a loop, and it might just be the difference in the fight. Because look at him. Come on, guys.
The best thing that Charlo can hope for is for Derevianchenko to just go not to fight on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Because look at that. What is that? I'm watching. Like,
yeah, I think
if Derevianchenko keeps turning and changing the angles, it's gonna be hard for a guy that's so episodic to find that moment.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point, but I don't think he's gonna do it. I think he's gonna try to slug it out. But guys, that was the presentation. Well, let me change screens here, guys. That's the presentation for today. But I think that again, we just scratched the surface because I got about 400 clips from different fights that we could look at. And if anybody wants a specific clip or something, we can look at it in the next presentation. But so we saw some of Charlo's strengths, some of his weaknesses. Again, I think the best thing for him here in this fight would be if Derevianchenko jumps on him. I think that's Bucho. That's what you were trying, and Gonzalo. That's what you were trying to get a little bit. What would be best for both? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Still, I think he's gonna get outboxed, but he's just gonna catch him, and that right uppercut's looking very good. That it might be one of those right hands or right uppercut, and I think, Jesus, I think Derevianchenko should be the favorite, but ultimately Charlo will win by knockout. But I still think Derevianchenko is like the favorite.
You think Derevianchenko is a favorite?
Well, he should be. He should be because he just come off 2 competitive fights against world-class competition.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlo hasn't fought anybody world-class, like Johnny was saying, at 160. So I think Derevianchenko is more experienced. But I just believe that Charlo is going to time him with power late. But that's just a feeling that I have. But as far as boxing skills, Derevianchenko throws more punches. So for a guy that is too episodic, that's just waiting for the perfect moment, a guy that is constantly throwing punches like Derevianchenko, you should favor the guy. Because a counter puncher is always going to have that, he's not throwing as many punches. So he's kind of going into a fight as not like a favorite because the other guy has more output.
Mm-hmm.
But just whether Derevianchenko is going to get caught or not, that's the only thing.
In the chat, Jim Thornton says Derevianchenko is a 2-1 underdog.
Yeah,
I think that makes sense because Gonzalo, you mentioned that Derevianchenko should be the favorite by virtue of the fact that he's fought better competition. But what do you guys think? I mean, should the guy he's fought more by better opposition, but he's lost to better opposition. What's his best win if you think about it? It's Toronto Johnson. Or no, not Toronto Johnson. I would say the Colque win is better, and even then he struggled. Meanwhile, Charlo has that good win, at least 2 good wins over Trout and Julian Williams. So what do we do? Do we go by and favor the guy who lost 2 close fights, I guess,
It's like
better
a loss
opposition.
on paper. It's a loss on. Think of Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor. I don't take nothing away against Regis Prograis because he lost that fight.
Mhm.
I still think he's tough. Same thing with Derevianchenko. It could have gone either way.
That's a true. Yeah, that's a good point. Now, listen, Johnny Boy, you're gonna hate me for this one, but right now, if you were to force me to pick, I would pick Charlo to beat Derevianchenko.
I don't blame you.
And I'm not saying it would be easy, by the way. I'm not saying he schools Derevianchenko or that it's easy, but I'm saying I think the odds favor him. I think, like Gonzalo said, the PBC. I mean, not Gonzalo, but somebody in the chat room has said the PBC will want him to win. He's a younger guy, undefeated. He's part of that demographic, which is what they want over there at the PBC. So,
Black man in a white man town. He's got trouble.
actually, this is the opposite. I think Derevianchenko's in the black man's town, and he's the one in trouble. He's not. I don't think he's gonna get the edge in this fight.
That was a good one, BD. That was a beauty. I'm gonna. I might need to borrow that one from you. What's anyways, what's it called? No, it's a pick'em fight, man. Derevianchenko, Charlo. Like I say, I hope the Dominican kid Rosario pulls it off, but that one.
But he's chinny too. I think a little bit, Rosario, because he lost to Nathaniel Gallimore, who's no slouch, by the way. But you figure Charles got better fundamentals. He's faster. He hits hard himself. So yeah, I think that the 154 Charlo actually has a better chance of winning.
So I was BDA. So I was talking to Michael Montero, the other day about these fights, and he's like, dude. And we were talking and we were chopping it up, whatever. And he's like, bro, listen. You think the PBC just decided to throw them in good fights out of the goodness of their heart? No, they see something in these two guys where the Charlos can shine.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's like, Mike was like, what do you think? They're just going to start throwing them there tough out of the blue all of a sudden after they've been fucking protecting them their whole career? No, they see something, And I don't mean by like Mikey Garcia standards either.
Well, what's the other option? I mean, they're 30 years old, right?
Yeah.
It's now or never. It's now or never, I think, and especially now with the whole virus thing, things are slowing down, man.
Yeah, it's now or never. It's like the training wheels have to come off at some point. It's a 50-50 fight. If they see something, I bet Charlo brings. Derevianchenko also brings something to the table that he could see that he could exploit off the Charlo. It's a 50-50 fight, man.
I see where Montero's coming from, but like Bucho said, I mean, what was the other option? I mean, at which point? It's not like they were necessarily coddled. I mean, they have been fighting good opposition progressively, and they're not fighting bums. But like Bucho said, they're in their 30s now. I mean, it was bound to happen at some point. They have to put them in there against guys that have a shot at beating them, like more than just a shot. I'm saying, like good competitive fights.
It took these guys 34 years of life to grow a pair of testicles. I'm real proud of you.
No, yeah, and true, and then you think about Charlo, like, before, a few weeks ago, a month ago, whatever, there were rumors that he could potentially fight Canelo. Remember, he was one of the options for Canelo, but obviously Canelo didn't go through with that option, and that's because Charlo doesn't have enough value yet. You know what I mean? Because, like you guys were saying, he hasn't fought anybody. So
exactly, yeah.
I think they finally understood this. Listen, if you want the big fights, if we want our fighter, in this case Charlo, to fight Canelo, we have to put him in against. We gotta, make him fight better opposition. He can get some value.
That's right, absolutely. Because he could fight him, but now if he gets his victory, his stock rises, and he could actually have he could say something about, look, I deserve this because I have Derevianchenko on my record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that's exactly. Yeah, it's very good points, guys. It would be something that he could use on the back end and say, hey, look, I've beat this guy, and it's a perfect fight for Charlo, for Jermel Charlo, because if he beats Derevianchenko and if he knocks Derevianchenko out, that's something that neither the great Golovkin or Daniel Jacobs could do. So there's a lot at stake here for Charlo, man, and he's up against it, man, and we'll see if he rises to the occasion. I think he will psychologically, but I'm still unsure if he can pull it off.
Gonzalo.
I believe that sorry, Johnny. There's nothing suspicious. Personally, there's nothing suspicious about this fight. They mentioned this is a make or break fight for Charlo. I think he could actually rebound like his brother from a loss easier than Derevianchenko. I know he's Ukrainian, he's a foreigner, and his value is not the same. But this is his third title opportunity, and he's gonna want to capitalize off that. I don't know. I think my brother said that. That's why he didn't accept the Canelo fight, because he doesn't want to sell his last shot. Which fighter gets like a fourth title opportunity in their career? Not too many.
Good point. And Gonzalo, maybe Derevianchenko thinks, this is his third opportunity, and this is the weakest link out of the three boxes he's going to be facing, right?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, and if he wins, then he can get the Canelo fight that he turned down or whatever. I don't know if he turned it down, but whatever, that didn't materialize. If he wins this fight, then he could fight Canelo. So it's a good move from Derevianchenko, I think.
Absolutely. So guys, listen, we're gonna have to move on now. Well, I'm gonna prepare the presentation for the next episode. But any parting thoughts about what we saw? Any last thoughts?
Just say this, Gonzalo. I forgot. I already have a wager with somebody on the Ryan Garcia fight. So next fight, we'll make a little wager, buddy.
Who's it against?
Right. Some asshole. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. What do you do? Do I look worried to you? I'm just curious. Who is it?
No. I'm just joking. No, some fucking dude. I don't know.
All right.
I'm just gonna say one thing about that fight. Look. You mentioned that Campbell's bigger. Yeah, he's more lanky, but I actually think Ryan Garcia is bigger. He's just getting bigger by the day, and he's taller. And look, Campbell doesn't have concussive power. I know he has 60 knockouts, 20 fights, but all those knockouts were TKOs, technical knockouts in England. He's only fought 3 times in the United States, and he's only KO'd 2 guys, and one of those guys had their 38-10 record.
You don't get
30. What is that? 13 and like he's lost more times than he's won. So he doesn't have that KO power.
They're almost the same in dimensions and height and reach. The reason I think Campbell's going to destroy him is because Ryan Garcia doesn't move his head and he keeps his hands low, and he's going to get hit with the left hook, bro, from Campbell. I think he's dead, man. That's what I was saying on my video earlier. I don't like, there's fights that I'm on the fence about picking, like Derevianchenko Charlo, for example, or Loma Teofimo. Like those kind of picks I'm on the fence about. But then there's the other picks where I'm extremely confident in what I'm saying. Like with Pacquiao Thurman. You remember a year ago how confident I was Pacquiao was going to beat Thurman? And wasn't me being a big fan of Pacquiao's. That was just what I honestly thought was going to happen, and that happened. So,
all right. Well, listen.
I got a theory of why he doesn't move his head. Because he's so tall and he's peering from the corner of his eye, looking down at most of his opponents. But with that being said, Campbell is not short. So he's looking down at his opponents and he's using his reflexes to watch him from the corner of his eye and throw those deadly right and left hooks that he's dispatched most of his opponents with. That's my theory on Ryan Garcia.
Hey, speaking of Ryan Garcia, and that's a good point there, Gonzalo, but we'll talk more about that fight, the infamous Ryan Garcia, Queen Ryan Garcia, as I like to call him, versus Campbell as we go along. But I wanted to ask you guys something about a Cobra bag, because Ryan Garcia now, he's been using the Cobra bag a lot, and it's gaining more and more popularity. The first time I saw it, I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but I was watching a clip of him doing it, and it does seem like it adds a lot of resistance, and it is a challenge to hit it. For those of you that don't know what a Cobra bag is, this is what it is. See how it's a bag there? It's on a stick and it's got a spring, and it is hard to hit it, so it does present a bit of a challenge if you're not used to it. Do you think this type of thing would make a lot of noise if I put it in a confined?
Yeah, I've hit that for years, BDA.
Yeah,
well, not lately, but before. Yeah, I used to hit that all the time.
What about in an apartment? Do you think that makes too much noise, or?
Not so much. Depends on the spring.
Well, let's hear this.
You don't got a good quality one. You're gonna rip it off the spring.
Let's put some sound. See.
My pocket where I pull out.
See, this guy's in his fucking garage with a bandana. I don't know why he looks like a Zapatista or something, right, Bucho? I don't know why he's got the fucking bandana on, but
Fuck is that?
Yeah, but look, do you think this would be acceptable or too much noise? I want to get some thoughts and also from the crowd, from the viewers.
Yeah, fuck the neighbors. Get it?
Fuck the neighbors. Yeah, that's a good point. Fuck them. Let them call the cops. Funkrati says COVID paranoia. I don't know if it's because. Oh no, yeah, you're right. It's from July the 22nd, so maybe this motherfucker is afraid of. But he's in his garage. What is he afraid of?
You know what you say when the neighbors complain, right, PDA?
What was that?
Hey, Larry, I'm going to come over there and eat you and that dog for lunch.
You animals. What'd you say?
Your mother's an animal.
Your mother's an animal. But yeah,
the double end bag is more hard to hit than the Cobra bag. The Cobra bag is pretty easy to hit because the double end bag, depending on how tense you have the bungees, it could come back faster or it could come back differently. Where the timing's got to change for that one.
Yeah, you're right. But because they used to sell a double end bag for your hallway. You would put that in the door. You would put two, like those pull-up bars that you can put on your doorway, on the door frame. It would be two of those, one on top, one on the bottom, and you would attach an elastic and then the double end bag. But they don't sell those anymore. And I'm not a handyman, so I don't know how the fuck I would make one myself. So I was thinking the next best thing would maybe be the Cobra bag.
The best thing is to drill a hole in the concrete
and
put a little piece of wood, then screw what do you call it? Like a bolt that's got like a circle on top, a hook, a complete hook. Screw that on the ground.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Off a beam, or do the same thing for the beams.
I can't do that.
Screwing a bolt on the top.
It's a good suggestion, but I can't pull it off here. But you know what? I'm just gonna keep going to the gym, man. I got my fucking membership, but it's a pain in the ass now to go to the gym. It's a hallway, 4 feet. Like when you go into the office, you take 4 or 5 steps, and boom, you're in the gym. But for those 4 or 5 steps, you gotta wear a mask. And I'm thinking, this is ridiculous, man. That's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, guys.
In Illinois, in the bars, BDA, you have to sit 3 stools apart from each other, and you fucking. And if you're not eating or drinking, like say I was in the corner playing the slots or shooting pool in the back or whatever, you still got to have your fucking mask on. And I don't fucking know.
Well, you know what? For Bucho, that's always been standard. Even without the COVID, people have to stand 3 feet away from him for their protection, by the way. And we got him in a Hannibal Lecter thing there, strapped on. Because he can be an animal, Bucho, when he gets drunk.
I can't tell.
Like a steak
And if you get a double end bag and you get a teardrop shaped one, the best thing I think is to hang it up backwards. That way, the belly of the bag is facing up. That way, you can land some good uppercuts on it.
Nice. That's a good suggestion right there, man. That's a good suggestion. And before we go, I want to play this clip here.
You son of a bitch!
Hey, shut up!
That's right. A little Mean Streets and Raging Bull for everybody out there, or vice versa, Raging Bull and Mean Streets. Listen, guys, thank you for being on. Really appreciate it. This was fun, man. This was fun. And fucking talking about Wilder again for 3 hours or Canelo. Yeah. And you know what? Anybody, because there were people complaining, oh, this and that. We're showing you clips. We're showing you evidence. So call in next time. I didn't put the phone call in this screen. I should have done it. I think people missed it. But call in next time and tell us what you disagree with. Because we're showing you the evidence. So I would appreciate it if you called in and see what happens.
Let me just say this real quick, BDA.
Yes, please.
Before you close it out, I don't wrap it up. Listen, Al Heyman's a mook, and we don't pay mooks, okay? Don't give don't give that jag off any of your money for those 2 pay-per-view fights. Salute, everybody.
The hell's a mook? Oh, he left.
Hey, PDA, that right uppercut that Jermel Charlo was throwing on screen that you were showing, that's dynamite. I think that's how the fight's going to end.
Yeah, exactly.
Good clips.
Thank you,
man.
That's
what I said.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Gonzalo. And yeah, you guys you're seeing what I'm seeing. That's why that's why it's fun to show GIFs of exactly what we're talking about. By the way, shout out to Mark, aka Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News, who just contributed with the super chat. He says, Let the seagulls get the sardines. Let the bon in. Absolutely. Thank you, Unrivaled, for your contribution, man. Official Scorecard Box says, I disagree with you ending the episode this early. Well, we said everything we had to say about it. Don't worry. We'll be back pretty soon with part 2, where we're going to take a look at Derevianchenko. Maybe a couple of more Jermel Charlo clips, too, because we didn't even scratch the surface with Jermel Charlo. So, guys, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Hold on a second. Let me go to the... Before, I mean, every time we go, we gotta talk about the people here and give a shout out to everybody that contributed. Virtuoso, Slugger Sam, you should have called in. I made you wait, but I didn't hang up on you. It's just your own hold. So call in next time, man. Don't get discouraged. So shout out to Virtuoso, Slugger Sam, Chris K, Chet Collins, and Unrivaled, aka Mark, for their contributions, guys. Really appreciate it. You keep the gravy train rolling, and we'll be back next time. And guys, in the comment section for this episode, put on, if you've been watching the Derevianchenko and Charlo fights and you see something interesting, tell me which round and which second or minute it takes place in, and I'll dig it up and I'll put it in the next presentation, right? So for the next, in this comment section, give us your suggestions about which GIFs you want us to show for the next presentation, and we'll make sure to work that in there, all right, guys? So thanks a lot again. I want to give a shout out to Gonzalo, Johnny Boy, and of course my co-host Bucho for joining us. Like I said, everybody in the chat room, everybody who contributed, and let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat room. Rahowa, Superb Supreme. At least he didn't call himself Supreme Allah. That would have been weird, to say the least. Carlos Mendoza, 48 Valley Boys, Rahowa, Adam Heistad, Dead Game Boxing. Shout out to Dead Game, James Thornton, Fonkatrice, Superb Supreme, okay, Unrivaled, that guy. I'm not saying Unrivaled, that guy. I'm saying Unrivaled and a guy named that guy. Superb Supreme, okay. Jonathan Morrison, Tito Toledo. Who else was here? Johnny Boy, of course. Brave 432. Hard Recoil, Chet Collins. Thank you again, Chet, for your contribution. Chopstick, Mac MF Trell. And many more to show. Andres Fernandez. If I didn't get to everybody, sorry. Davey 057 Estrada. Guys, thanks a lot for your contributions. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. B-Space, BJN1, Official Scorecard Boxing. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Have a good one.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You happy because you got nothing. Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Good.